I've always loved Halloween. When I was 13, it was the most important day of the year. It was a big deal for us to plan our costumes weeks in advance, decorate our house, and make every detail perfect. My dad was always a big part of it. He would buy fake spider webs, giant spiders, skeletons hanging from trees, and even smoke machines. That year, my two best friends, James and Curly's, helped out. James was 14, so he was the cool big kid who could reach the high branches. Curly's was 12, a little younger than me. We had a great time making our yard the spookiest house on the block. My dad would put a scarecrow by the porch, and I would decorate the bushes with fake spider webs. James was trying to hang a plastic ghost on a small ladder from a large oak tree. That's when I saw him, a man I'd never seen before, standing in front of our yard. He wasn't doing anything. He was just standing there looking at us. He was average looking. He looked like he was in his late 30s. He was wearing a simple jacket and jeans. But his smile was strange. Big, but not friendly. "Wow, you guys are doing great. Are you getting ready for the big night?" he said. I smiled, because I've been sociable since I was a kid. "Yeah, we're trying to be the scariest house," I said. His eyes scanned the decorations. "Are you going out here to buy candy? Which route?" The question was a little strange, but I didn't pay much attention. My dad came out of the porch and put his hand on my shoulder and stopped the man in front of us. "How can I help you?" he said in a calm but stern voice. The man's smile faded in an instant. He was just interested in the decorations. "This kid is working hard," he said, looking at me. "Buy some really sweet candy, kid. Now come inside, son," my dad said. I did as he said. When I looked back, the fake smile on his face disappeared for a moment. His eyes were cold, almost angry. He looked at my father, then silently walked down the street. A few nights later, I heard a loud thud from the yard of the house. My bed was on the second floor and I could see the street from my window. I was scared, but curiosity got the better of me. When I looked out the window, the man was standing in the middle of our yard again, partially hidden by an oak tree. Apparently, he had collided with our scary scarecrow and fallen. He didn't do anything, he was just watching our house and my window. My heart started pounding. I jumped up quickly, got down and went to my father. He was watching TV and I said, "Dad, there's a man in our yard." My father immediately opened the door, went out into the yard and checked. A minute later, he came back and closed the door. "No one's there. It's just a tree that's fallen," he said. But I knew that there was no strong wind today. Halloween night came. I was still a little scared, but the excitement of getting candy overcame me. After school, James and Curlis came. We put on our costumes. I was a ninja, James a werewolf, Curls a vampire. As soon as it got dark, we took our candy bags and went out into the street in the evening. We wandered around our street for a bit, but we wanted to go to distant houses for better candy. Our bags were getting heavy. We were full of pride. As we approached a dark house, a voice came from the darkness. "Children, come here, I have good candy." We all turned and looked. The man with a fake smile had gone out into a dark courtyard. "Run!" James waved. We started running too. I could hear his footsteps and he got closer. Curly's had already disappeared into the dark courtyard. James approached me and took my hand. Suddenly my father came out. "Stay away from my son." The man immediately let go of me and ran away. My father hugged me and expressed his concern, and James and Curlis returned. That night we called the police, and the security camera footage showed that our friend Jake and the man had planned the party robbery together. Jake's planned robbery happened soon after, but the police arrived in time. My father, my family and I were shaking with fear. Halloween had become a scary memory. Sometimes the scariest things are people, not ghosts. The fear of Halloween night was still with me. After the party, I couldn't sleep, paying attention to every quiet sound. When it was midnight, the doorbell rang again. At first, I thought maybe the kids were late, but when I opened the door, no one was there. Just a dark box stood in front of the door. I saw the words, "This is yours." My heart pounded as I took the box inside. It contained some sweets, but there was also something unusual with it. Small playing cards with a scary eye on them and the words, "Look, you are being watched." Trembling with fear, I quickly called my father, but he did not enter the room. He just quietly closed the door. The next day I couldn't talk to anyone at school. James and Curly's were also hiding their surprise, but they both agreed with me that the night had come as a warning to us. A few days later, we saw a new sign on the street. Near our house, there were dolls in fake costumes, each with a brown pencil drawing an eye on its face. They looked as if they had been sent by the man who had been following us. Every time I looked, my heart sank and I started to sweat. The next night, my father came home from work at midnight and heard a strange noise coming from the house. A shadow was moving around our yard at the back of the house. My father immediately came to James's and my room, gathered us together and said, "I don't want you to be anywhere." But we children, especially me, were watching with curiosity. The street was empty, but the shadow was visible. We counted its steps. It seemed to get closer every time we stopped. Then suddenly a door opened into the garden and a tall black figure stepped out. He was dressed in black, with a mask on his face and a large stick in his hand. His presence immediately tore our hearts apart. Curly couldn't speak for fear, but James put his hand on my shoulder. My father came out of the yard, but this time the man was moving faster. We made a plan to escape. My father let us in through a hidden back door. The man followed us for a few seconds, then, as if checking everything out, disappeared into the darkness. The next week, when I went to school, I received a text message. It was from a number I didn't recognize. "I'll always keep my eyes on you. If you like horror, be ready for the game tomorrow night." I shook with fear before deleting the message. I showed it to James and Curly's, who got the same thing. Night was approaching again. We hid in our rooms for fear. There was a knock on the door. A light shone through the window. No matter how hard we tried, we couldn't see who it was. But slowly, little dolls began to appear all over the house. Each doll had that brown eye shape on its face. Then we heard a voice, a shrill, cold whisper. "You haven't forgotten me, have you?" This voice froze us inside. Each of us froze. No one could move. My father got up and tried to check the situation, but he couldn't find anything. The dolls disappeared one by one, but the sound was still in our ears. We continued to wait. A few minutes passed, and then a shadow quickly ran through the window. We were relieved, but it was just a warning. We already understood that when Halloween night is over, the fear does not end. It is always somewhere, watching us. From then on, every year when Halloween comes, before going out on the street, we carefully inspect our house, watching every corner with hidden cameras. After that night, we realized that sometimes the scariest things are those that are not visible, but are always close.